Hi, Zizaran here with the Gauntlet wrap up. We're going to do drawings for who won the random prizes, and we're joined here with Al Kaiser, who is the overall winner of the Gauntlet, and we're going to do like interviews with a lot of the participants, as well as the drawings, like I said. And I'm happy to announce that we hit a whooping 20,000 people that joined this Gauntlet. And Al Kaiser is the overall winner, and I believe he won around or slightly over $6,000. Congratulations, dude.
Thanks. That's badass.
That is badass. Yeah, it's a very, very impressive performance. Did you like this gauntlet more than previous gauntlets?
Uh, Probably. I mean, that's a lot because there's I think we're a little practiced now on these bosses, and there's new bosses as well. So I think familiar with a little bit of extra is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, how did you feel about the class gauntlet thing?
I think that was a good decision. And looking at things like Quantric or Sistarix with their characters was definitely like breath of fresh air. I'm sure for a lot of people.
Yeah, I know a lot of viewers in particular didn't want to just watch slams. Is this something you'd want? Like, would you want every gauntlet to be a class gauntlet, or do you like a mix of things?
I think it depends on GGG's and we're not playing slams because we necessarily want to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a interesting thing actually, because you play Earth Shatter and Earthquake a lot. Is that just because it's so much stronger, or do you enjoy playing it a lot?
I don't enjoy playing it. The amount of buttons you push sucks, but I mean, what sucks for other people? I mean, and if it's like the strongest thing or whatever, I mean that like fewer people are gonna want to play it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what did you feel like was the hardest thing for you in the Gauntlet?
Not tilting. It happens every single gauntlet, like day 3 or 4,
Mhm.
like, my tilt levels start getting, and I just want my character to die, but, you know, he didn't die, so,
That's good. What about like, was there any boss that you felt was harder for you than other bosses?
uh, I always say I think Uber Elder is the hardest boss, the most, variants and things he can do,
Do you feel like Uber Brothers harder than Aziri?
easily on a slam character, at least, I don't know about
Right,
other characters,
that's fair.
I'd rather fight 2 at series than Uber
Wow, that's
Elder.
crazy. I find Aziri so much harder.
She doesn't do anything.
Oh. I suck at Azuri. Well, no, that's awesome. Um, and like, do you think are you always just gonna go or were you just selecting slams just for the strongest, or were you considering doing another class to just get a higher chance to win like the top class ascendancy?
I thought about doing what Steel Mage did, and I thought someone else would probably do it, but I was like, I honestly didn't want to play more once I was done. I was kind of checked out about halfway through the gauntlet.
Oh yeah, because you went for like what are all the bounties you hit? You hit quite a lot of them. First to kill Awakener 9, first to kill Awakener 8 at 7 FPS. That looked horrible.
That one, I didn't intend to do it, but nobody had done it yet, and I watched someone else die to it. So I was like, I guess I was trying to kill my character off like some creative way. I just couldn't get the. I wanted to do the what is it like the synthesis bosses one.
Yeah.
I was just missing one of the maps, and it would never drop.
Yeah, and you didn't die at all this gauntlet, right?
No, unfortunately. I even had the double split at Ziri thing. I used portals, but I thought that would kill me, but
That's insane. Um, do you feel like how do you feel about like the fact that we changed the resistance penalty? Do you feel like that changed or helped things at all, or it didn't really matter?
it doesn't matter for the champion slam type stuff. It probably affects some of the other ascendancies more, but it really doesn't matter for us.
Yeah. What about if we could add extra mods to the gauntlet to make it harder? Is there anything you would like to see?
I'd have to think about that one, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I'm sure there's stuff you can do that's creative, but uh, I think keeping mixing up the things that are happening in the gauntlet is good. Like you don't want the same thing over and over again. So
Yeah, especially like the less changes there are in the meta, I feel like the more we have to change it up in some other ways. Be interesting to see if we had like 4 or 5 extra projectiles. I guess it would just be death. Like,
3 extra proj with 100% AoE.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I would love to run an actual, like, Blamp race, maybe without the blood magic. I really wonder how much. For those that don't know what a Blamp race is, it's an old race TGD used to run, where it would be blood magic, lethal, ancestral, multi-proj, and turbo. So those mods that are 30% extra as fizz would be 90% extra as fizz, and I believe it's 60% speed instead of 20. And there are 4 projectiles instead of 2. And I don't know if we could actually even like we've only had a 24-hour race like this before, and people could only get to Malachi Act 4 in 24 hours. Be very interesting. How do you think that would go? Do you think people could get to maps and do bosses?
It would take a long time, but I mean, I don't think it's as bad as it probably sounds off the top of the head, but
Yeah, probably. Definitely forces diversity a lot more. Like then you're very, very wanting to play a champion.
yeah, unfortunately.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. It's been really, really cool to see your performance, and it was a very tight race as well. Like obviously you, Exile, Darky, and you got a little fucked on RNG there with you couldn't get your Uber Elder fragment, right?
Yeah, they kill Shaper like 4 times, I think. It's not super bad, but it's pretty bad when you don't have that many Guardian maps.
Yeah. How do you feel about Uber Elder being included for points in the Gauntlet?
I think it's fine. I think like you can put the feared in there. It's pretty reliable to drop if you want like some kind of thing that eventually like gates everybody. So like you just pretend we have our normal format and then you put the feared at the end for like another some amount of points, and that's kind of like I don't know, like
The tiebreaker?
tiebreaker if it really came down to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be more doable to have the feared if we could swap Uber Elder fragments and if you could witness Sana Cortexes.
Yeah, the Cortex thing kind of sucks. That is true. I
Yeah.
only had 1 drop.
Yeah, exactly. And like there's a pretty big chance that you don't get any. It's the same we don't like do owl in the race. I haven't had an owl in 6 months. um but yeah, other than that, is there anything you would want to see changed in the gauntlet and stuff?
I don't feel like there's things in our direct power like from what we have to work with. I think
Yeah.
GGG and like the meta and stuff. That's on them really.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, thank you again for participating in the gauntlet, and you did one hell of a run.
Yeah.
Hopefully we will see you in the next gauntlet, and you should get your trophy pretty soon. So that's badass. Actual Path of Exile trophy. Um, so hopefully we'll see some tweets of that, and yeah, congratulations again.
Thanks. I'll put it behind me or something.
That's badass, dude. Let's get a big clap for Al Kaiser in the chat. Where we have a lot of interviews we're going to go through today. We also have drawings, so we're going to move on with the next person. And thank you again for joining us, Al. I will see you later.
Bye.
um, thank you. Next up, we have Darky slash Lighty. Is it 2 people? Is it 1? Who knows? Let's see how professionally I can switch this over. Wait, did Darky say it was okay with cam? I have a no cam and cam. I'm hoping we see face. Where's Darky? ID. Oh, he said yes. Cam here. Lighty with cam. Alright, poggers, dude. We're gonna have Lighty next. Bump. There. I'm hyped, dude. Hello.
Up.
There it is. How are you doing? Everybody, let's say hi to Darky. I guess a lot of people haven't seen your face because you don't normally stream with a camera.
Uh, yeah, it's not normal for PoE at least. I do when I'm playing WoW at like the GSPC and various events, but not when I'm playing PoE usually.
Let's see, I'm gonna turn. I think your volume's a little bit quiet. Try talking again.
Hello, hello.
Maybe a little loud. I hate Discord. I need an equalizer. Okay, I think it's gonna be fine now. But yeah, congratulations on you did pretty good this gauntlet. How do you feel?
I mean, not as good as I wanted to feel, that's for sure. You know, of all the ways to die, definitely wouldn't have thought it'd be just some angry chickens in Uber, but you know that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, you got 5th place this time in the gauntlet, but you are still by far the highest earning Path of Exile player of all time. And I mean, as always, you did an insane performance. Even though you died, you almost finished first, and it was an insane race. So I think, yeah, I think everybody is very, very impressed by your performance, and you still won not 100% on all the amounts yet because things are still being finished, but I think you won around $2,000.
Nice. Yeah, it's still a decent finish. I think if I prepped better for dying, it could have been a lot easier. But I'm just kind of stupid. Like when I dropped my second soul tether, I instantly just vowed both just because I could, and I just never plan around dying, and it just made things a lot worse than it needed to be.
Yeah. Do you think you should plan around dying in these events?
Uh, yes, just because I mean, based off of this one, at the very least, I know that if I die, I can still win as long as I die at like a good time. Like I died right before I started bossing, so I still had every single fragment already farmed, which is a pretty big time save. So like it was still possible to come back, and if I prepped a little bit better, it
Yeah.
would have been fine.
So you've won so many of these events now. When the class gauntlet was announced, did you even entertain the thought of doing anything than a duelist, or was it just always going to be champion?
Uh, I think the bounty system kind of makes it so it's never correct to go for class victories because the bounties are like I think it was like 30-40% of the total price pool, and if you're trying to do like the hard bounties, you're not going to do them on like a ranger or like a shadow compared to a champion that can finish the entire gauntlet in 60 hours and then start doing bounties when you're still in T10s. So
Yeah.
the plan was always play the meta and then chase the bounties that I can chase, and then make a Marauder, a Scion, a Templar, and then like try to chase the class victories afterwards. Because a lot of people thought that there was going to be upwards of like 10, 20 people finishing the gauntlet, but that there was 6. So
Yeah.
the plan was definitely bounties first, points later for the second classes.
Are you surprised that not more people finished?
No, I thought it'd be about 5.
Nice. I think it's been pretty cool to see like more and more people getting into racing. It's gonna be really cool to see like how much more competition it ends up being, and that would make it more viable to do like an ascendancy race in the future. Obviously, the prize pool would have to be bigger then too. How did you feel about there not being, for example, Delve this race?
Well, I think it's a good thing for just because it's a class gauntlet. I think I've talked about this on stream in the past, but if something like Delve existed, it would guarantee that only champion could ever win because a ranger and a shadow could never delve to 500, whereas maybe a ranger could, but shadow can't, whereas champion always can. So it like invalidates certain classes from being able to win the class gauntlet, which would be kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. No, it's been pretty cool. I love the bounties this time as well. It's been really, really cool to see. Like some of them were kind of fucked.
Yeah, like mine didn't get completed. It's kind of bad.
Which one was that?
The one where you have to kill Ubertsiri when it's the clone version without portaling out, which is like a 1 in 4 to even get that whenever you're on an Ubertsiri set.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Karn almost did it, but he logged out because he was a little scared, which is understandable. He
yeah.
was a slayer.
Right. Yeah, that's insane. There was so many cool bounties, and I love to see what people come up with, and I'm very happy that somebody was actually able to kill the feared. That was badass. It was pretty funny seeing the Reddit comments. There was one guy saying that it wasn't even hard with that amount of gear. I saw you posted there as well. That was great.
I don't know what you're talking about.
uh, are you surprised that there was nobody that killed an owl in the entire event?
No, just because it's so like far out of the way, it takes upwards of probably 8+ hours to get to and do. To where like, I mean, killing it is probably guaranteed victory because it's just kind of a pain to even try to get. Like Karn tried to get it. I think he went to like 340, 350 and never found one. It's just one of those RNG things that like because there's nothing else delve related at all anywhere in the bounties or the points, it's just too far away to even like try for.
Yeah. Is there anything with the Gauntlet that you would have like changed or wanted different in hindsight?
No, I mean, I think with the tools we have, like you're doing pretty much all you can, and I just hope to keep on seeing it grow.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's like still insane to me that we have 20,000 people. And again, thanks so much for participating and going as hard as you do. It makes it very, very entertaining. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for running them.
Let's get a big a clap for Darky and chat. And we're going to have Steel Mage coming up next. Thank you so much, Darky. And enjoy your winnings. And we'll see, hopefully, you in the next gauntlet as well. We're going to try to do one every league now.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Let's see, where is Steel Mage? Bump. Flee. Let's see. This is so professional and fast. Look at this. I don't even have different scenes. I'm doing it on the fly. Some say the Steel Mage is still stalling to this day. How are you doing, Steel Mage?
Yeah, nah, I'm a sleepy boy. I'm tired, dude.
You're a sleepy boy? Aren't you usually up for another like 7 hours watching Quinn anyway?
Yeah, but you know, I'm trying to, change. I'm trying to like change my schedule. I'm trying to actually get some exercise in the morning. Before the stream.
That's badass. Hey, look at that display in the background. That's actually badass. That's so
I
cool.
think I'm pointing. I think I'm pointing in the right direction.
You are. Congratulations on being rank 1 witch. How does it feel?
Yeah, let's open with the rank 1 witch part. I like that. But yeah, now I'm super happy. I was trying to push pretty hard for rank 2. Obviously, I saw another duelist claimed it. It would have been cool. But
Yeah,
we
you're
still got the
rank
first
3 overall. That's still pretty badass.
Yeah, the first non-slammer. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah. First non-melee cuck.
I mean, I'm usually the melee gamer on the Glad, but this time I played the witch inspired by Waggle, so
No, that's
we
badass.
We did all right.
Actually badass. You won around $3,000. All the amounts aren't like completely finalized yet. But yeah.
Yeah, nah, that's awesome.
That's badass. I'm very impressed. And you had a death as well. Did you only die once in the gauntlet?
Well, I had a more recent death, but just once on the witch.
Yeah.
I had an incident with a crab. Yeah. Yeah,
getting with the crab. Yeah, I remember that now.
They hurt. Harvest is rippy. I'm glad Harvest is getting nerfed, but it's the crafting, right? Right.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be interesting. I think that's like the coolest part for me about doing a gauntlet every league is like we get to see the differences. Like obviously the first one was in Harvest, the second one was in Heist with no Harvest. So it's really, really cool to see how different they are each time. How did you feel about the change with a class gauntlet? Obviously you didn't go duelist this time, so it was quite a big change.
I mean, obviously, I don't know if I probably would have played Glad again, right? I probably would have played Glad again if it wasn't class-based, but class-based, it seemed like a good time to switch. Because I've never been a fan of, like Alk said, so I know Muns over Funds, but because obviously, I heard Alk said something along the lines of, if you really truly want to compete, you play Slam, right? I mean, and that's probably true. It's pretty true. True. But this time around, you could still compete, and maybe not. As Lighty said, you might not get rank 1 on the bounties, right? I didn't get to attempt the feared, but I still did pretty good, thanks to the class system. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that is true. Do you think it influences what you pick that you're streaming?
I mean, I've gone back and forth on this a lot. I used to think, screw chat. I used to think just play the best build and go as hard as possible, and just commit, right? Then I thought, well, then I kind of was like, but then again, and then I did that, and then that sucked, obviously, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll play, and I was just kind of going back and forth between the two. I don't know.
Yeah, it is hard to balance. It is hard to balance.
It sounds easier than it is. Just playing whatever you think is best. It sounds easier than you think.
Yeah,
But
no,
no.
like for me, I don't love playing melee slam builds. Like I haven't practiced it enough. But
I have
you
to
have.
say it. Well, no, well, kind of. Not as well. So the gladiator isn't like a traditional slam build, right? It's not the same as the Oh, good. Yeah,
Are you a
alright.
person? Are you green screened?
Wait, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Are you like
Am I
one of
real?
those like YouTubers? No, what are they called?
A VTuber,
Are you a
yeah.
VTuber? Are you not real?
A Monka.
Sorry, what were you
Exposed,
saying?
dude. Something about gladiators not being the same kind of feel regarding slams.
Sure.
Because you don't really use both slams. You don't really use both cries, and it's not as like.
Yeah, but it is
Yeah.
sort of like a similar archetype where it feels similar to play. It's very different than DD.
Yeah. True.
It's very different.
DD was the first time I played. I haven't played DD in like 6 years or something. So this was new for me as well, actually. So we kind
Yeah.
of winged it, and it worked
It
well.
worked really well. You killed it the entire gauntlet and got geared up. Actually, I felt like I got very lucky with gear early on, just not like Soul Tether or Glorious Fundy, but you had so garbage gear and still survived for so long. Like you did incredibly well, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I died just as I invested all my currency into my gear, like all my harvest
Yeah.
crafts, all my currency, everything, and lost all of that. So I had to basically start again. So I lost that. I lost that day one. So yeah, I ended up with garbage gear on the reroll just because I died like at such a bad time.
Do you feel it's hard to balance, like paying attention to what other people are doing in the gauntlet, seeing maybe other people have more gear and feeling forced into higher tiers and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, the champions just dominate, don't they? I mean, you
Mhm.
heard Lighty, right? He said 60 hours in, right? 60 hours.
Yep,
I'm not doing that on a necromancer. It's just not happening.
for sure.
So it is scary.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
mean, what can
insane.
you do? Yeah, what
It's
can you do?
insane. But you prefer the class system over like a free for all?
Well, as Alec and Lighty touched on this, depends on the meta, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want it to be literally one build, ideally, right? I mean, you don't want it to be like that skewed, like 99% skewed. You want it to be obviously there's always going to be a better build, right? But hopefully, ideally, it's not as skewed as it was in like a previous event. I think it was quite bad in the last event where it was super skewed because there was a
Yeah.
really busted build at the time. So
The
ideally, it's
slams
not that
suck.
skewed. Yeah, ideally, it's not that skewed. So it just kind of depends, right? It's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was surprisingly balanced for an event like this. And now, obviously, with an event like this, it is very, very. You are pigeonholed into really strong builds, right? You're not going to get rank 1 with Flicker Strike in a league like this. But as for percentages of what people were playing, and this is in the top 2,000, we have Earthquake at 25%, Earth Shatter 11%, then DD 9, Blade Blast 8%, Toxic Rain 6, Caustic Arrow 5, Armor Brand 3, Cremation 3. So there's quite a lot of different builds in the top 2000, which I think was really, really cool, even in an event like this where it is so pigeonholed into really, really high builds. And we saw several people going hard and well with Vortex and Essence Drain in like top 20, top 30 on the ladder, etc. So I think that was really, really cool to see. And I know a lot of people from the audience will often say that they wish there was more build diversity in races, and hopefully they did enjoy this.
Yeah, I definitely think the build diversity was helped by the class gauntlet for sure. There's
Yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah, that was insane. But yeah, I mean, we are gonna try to like make it different. Was there anything you didn't like in this gauntlet, or everything you felt like was too much RNG?
Well, I mean, as always, getting the boss fragments is really frustrating. But I mean, at the end of the day, like it's still reasonable to just brute force them. Like even if you just have to sit down and do and just burst maps, so it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Dying sucks. That yeah, if we could nerf that, that'd be great.
Medium core when?
Yeah.
Would you want to see medium core races?
Well, maybe not for the gauntlet, right?
Right.
But as a game mode, if that was a private league option to toy around with, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love that.
Very high up on the list of options I've asked for is any form of medium core. There's so much you can do with it. Even for
Yeah.
things like stream versus stream that we do and stuff.
Yeah, so people asking what medium core is. You can kind of use your imagination, chat. So it's basically it's something in between hardcore and softcore, and that's really all it is. So obviously, if GGG were to implement it, it would be up to their interpretation. But
Yeah.
it could just be losing gear. It could be a harsh XP penalty. It could be
Yeah,
could be any number of
some of the
things.
examples, like some that would be particularly cool for streamer events. You could have a league where you choose up to 5 items that get killed when you die. So maybe Steel only loses 1 item when you die, and Rice loses his 6th link that he finally got, or something like that. So you could have like a random factor, or you could have like a set you lose 1 item per death. You can have that you lose levels per death. You can have that you only lose the gear, not the character. There's like so many like different not funny. There's like so many different aspects of medium core that would be really cool to have as options for private leagues. Sure, I shouldn't joke about Rice QT getting a 6th link. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, there's so many options that would be really, really cool for a private league. So
Yeah, I mean, not just medium core, right? I mean, there's all kinds of mods that they could add. So
yeah. Delete your account when you die, etc. would be cool too.
Wonka.
But yeah, and something I've hopefully they'll add is something like being able to switch Uber Elder fragments for a race around would be really, really helpful for less RNG.
Yeah, I mean, most people think it already is a thing with Harvest, but unfortunately, it isn't.
That's very frustrating. People are like, "Why don't you swap them?" It's like, oh,
If only I could.
I know. If only. And you also did you end up getting rank 1 Inquisitor as well?
Oh my gosh, you gotta bring that up, huh?
No, you didn't. You actually didn't.
So
No
I didn't-
way.
I felt pretty confident on the Inquisitor to do the Forgotten. So that was a bounty by DS Lily. This is also what killed Lighty's last character. Well, not his last one. The one that he got 5th place on, right?
Lily fucked you.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, Synthesis bosses are actually really dangerous with multi-projectiles. They're actually really dangerous. As you know, as Lighty pointed out, as I pointed out, yeah, they hurt.
Wow. That's crazy. So a lot of people were very worried that we were going to have one person winning like multiple. But yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
I don't feel too bad about it because like at the end of the day, winning multiple classes is kind of against the spirit of it anyway. So you know, I didn't want to win multiple classes. It's fine.
That's crazy though that a bounty by Lily that did that kind of. Do you think you would have like gone for other bosses if you didn't?
Yeah, well, I really, really, really wanted to try the Feared. Even if I know Khan obviously managed to do it, which is badass, but I wanted to give it a go too. But yeah. Well.
Wow. That was amazing. That was amazing. I actually hadn't even dawned on me. I thought you actually got both. I hadn't seen that all the top. Wow. But still an insane performance in the Gauntlet. Like I think a lot of people were surprised when you died and came back that strong and still took number 1 witch.
Yeah, well, I was just really, really excited to play the build and the Gauntlet. So, you know, I pushed. And it was a lot of fun.
Well. You did well. Hopefully we will see you in the next Gauntlet as well, and hopefully you'll have fun in Terraria and enjoy some variety. But thank you so much for a strong performance.
Yeah, next for running the events. I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, I posted, they're kind of the highlight of the league for me at this point. Like, I really like committing, like, you know, bursting the time and putting it in and, you know, playing PoE at its hardest. You know, it's really enjoyable.
Yeah, no, it's a huge performance. Let's get a big clap in the chat for Steel Mage. And yeah, enjoy some relaxation, and thank you for joining us. We are going to be joined by the Ventrua next. So let's
Don't
get ready
leave.
for that. Oh, you're already gone. They couldn't even see that. I'm so sorry. Wait, does Ventrua not have a cam? Alright, that makes sense. Thank you, Steel. Beautiful as always. I do? Okay, cool. I don't think Scry was expecting a camera. That is his camera.
Hey,
Hello. Do you want to turn on your cam?
1 sec. Does this work? Yeah.
That works.
Think.
Okay, I have to put it on top. There. Okay, it looks slightly different because I think Scry wasn't expecting. Wait, what if I do this? Ah, beautiful. That's perfect, actually. Now I don't need to switch it anymore. Ventrua, rank 1 Shadow. Congratulations.
Thanks. Feels nice to win something for once. It's a nice change.
I mean, you always have a very, very solid performance in a lot of races as well, though, even if you haven't finished the top 1 in a while.
Yeah, I'm just happy I actually got to play a build that I enjoy instead of playing slams. So the class Gauntlet was really good for me in that way. Because I know I don't enjoy slams, and even if I could compete against the fastest players maybe, I don't think I would be able to survive on that build for too long, because it's too many buttons and it requires a lot of effort to actually push them correctly.
Well, you won, to the best of my knowledge, around $2,000. And I think you had the bounties first to acquire 6th, first to kill Aziri as a shadow, and first to have a normal stash tab filled with amulets anointed with beef.
Okay, so the bounty story is actually pretty fun. So first was the Azir bounty. I was convincing myself the whole time to not get baited by the Azir bounty, because I was like, I really don't want to throw on day 1 to have to reroll ever. And then I'm like level 85, no one is actually killing Azir. I'm like, dude, this should be really easy. So I just go for it, and it ended up being really easy, but I was really nervous doing it. And then the beef bounty, so I thought it would be really easy if I just pick the passives in Lyra and Valdos. Well, somehow it ended up being like 2 days of min-max farming on like one of the fastest builds possible. But I still got other stuff while farming it, so it wasn't too bad. And yeah, it was a pretty funny bounty. But
Yeah.
I heavily underestimated how much time you have to spend to get it.
It's pretty funny. I love all the community bounties, and I loved Joust. It's just like the way you pronounce beef in the video was perfect. How bad do you feel it is dying that early? Like, if you died to Alkaiser, if you died to Aziri, how bad do you feel that is for the entire race?
So I don't think it matters if you can keep your mental the same, but leveling after you died is so. So I asked your chat what we were talking about when we cut off, and it was about the dying on day 1 part.
Yes.
So I think like the biggest problem with that is just rerolling after dying on day 1 when you are already tired is really difficult. A lot of the times people who die on day 1 end up like chain dying during the acts later on as well. Just because they wanna get fast to the point where they died, or because they just don't wanna be behind. And it's just way more difficult to play after you've died unless your mental is very strong, I think.
Yeah. It's also something I feel, especially in a race where there are some classes or ascendancies that are so much stronger than others. I feel if you are playing something that maybe might be a bit weaker, like for example, even Shadow or Witch would be a bit weaker than a Duelist, you can feel a little bit like pressured into doing things you might not necessarily be ready because you feel like you're running out of time.
I mean, that wasn't necessarily true with this class Gauntlet, but if it was like global standings, then yeah, it would definitely be like if you are undergeared as Duelist, you can just outplay the fight. If you are undergeared as Shadow, or like even better example is Garat as Sion, right? Like there was 0% chance he would have done that fight, no matter how well he played on the May when he died. Like it
Yeah.
actually didn't matter.
Yeah, that was brutal. Is there anything like what do you find is the hardest fight, and do you feel like there was something you couldn't do by being Shadow?
For me, like from the fights that were points, it was definitely Maven. But I still decided to do her before Uberatsiri, even though I thought Uberatsiri was somewhat free. Just because there's no point in me doing Uberatsiri because Maven was worth 1 more point.
Right.
So even if I killed Uberatsiri and died to Maven, it would have been literally the same thing. From the fights that very worth points. Obviously, the feared. I don't think that fight is ever possible on ED in Gauntlet, really, I would say.
Yeah.
And even the Forgotten seems like very insane.
The
It's
Forgotten
just
was
very
insane.
difficult to play on builds that don't have enough damage to kill before the next bosses spawn.
Yeah. No, it's so crazy, and the twisted, because nobody did it, right? And the twisted is just so insane.
Oh, is that the Breacher one?
That no, the twisted is like the twisted synthate. It's like the lightning one
Oh,
that just fires all
I
those
see what you mean. Yeah,
projectiles, and it's just
yeah.
insane.
That scales insanely with projectiles, obviously.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame that we didn't have a bounty for the hidden. I think it's the Breach Lords.
Yeah.
I think ED would have actually been really good for that. I don't think there is anything that can kill you in there because, well, except like a self auto attack, but everything else is like a lot of small hits, which ED Trickster is really good against.
Yeah, I
I
do.
think for that fight specifically, ED actually could have been better than like both DD and Champion, but that's like the only fight I can think of.
Yeah, although the ultimate tool though could also vary. Like if you have bad RNG and you don't dodge enough, you just get
Nah,
obliterated.
if you harvest craft your flasks and you have them up, you will never die to it.
I guess. I don't know. I would love to see it. I would love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, didn't get to try that kind of stuff, sadly.
Well,
But I think it would have been fun.
we are actually extending the gauntlet another 20 days at the end, just to let people like play around and fuck with it.
Yeah, I wish I had a character to fuck with
Yeah.
there. It's so sad that we cannot really. I mean, it's both sad and a good thing that we cannot practice these fights in standard. It would be fun to do them, but it would like take away from the actual gauntlet sometimes.
Yeah.
So I understand why you cannot just turn on mods on your standard character and practice it there. But it would be fun to do every now and then.
Yeah.
The fights are actually really entertaining to do. Like doing Uber Elder, it wasn't that hard for this build, but it was really fun to play. Like it was just very engaging, way more engaging than like most other bosses.
Yeah, no, it's been really, really interesting, and it's been so cool to see people doing well in like so many different classes. Like I loved watching you push on Shadow and stuff. So
Oh, speaking of that, I love the Bladeful Blade Blast Archmage Raider. That guy earned all of my respect. That guy's the
was
hero, man.
actually
He
badass.
killed everything so fast too. Like I think it was like 5 or 6 days. That's like really fast for a raider. Like I don't think a raider slammer could have done. It would be hard to compete even on a raider slammer, honestly.
Yeah, no,
Like, that
it's
guy was
actually
insane.
badass. Actually badass. So yeah, it was cool. Is there anything you would have seen like changed or different in the gauntlet?
I would like points for Uberlap. Maybe the hardest one. I don't remember the names, but the
Gift of
one
the
where
goddess and
Izaro is
stuff,
like
yeah.
super buffed. And other than that, no, not really.
Awesome. Did you like the removal of the delve points?
As Trickster, Delph is really annoying, so I was happy about it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think Delph works very well as a tiebreaker. Instead of rushing bosses, I think Delph could be a tiebreaker.
Yeah, but I also do
It-
see like with
But at that
different
point, it's a
classes.
Delph only event because the best players will always kill all the bosses, so it literally becomes a Delph only event. So I understand why it cannot be the only tiebreaker.
Yeah. No, I do hope we have more options in the future, and being able to like have a slightly less RNG. I mean, it's part of Exile; it's still going to be RNG, but less RNG. And getting things like the feared and stuff would be cool.
Yeah, it would be really good. Like, I'm sure there was a few people that wanted to like try the fear, but they couldn't. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I got a character to 96.5 and 97, almost 98, and I didn't get a single Cortex drop. I just got 3 Cortexes on my Zana.
Right.
So yeah, can't really do much about that.
But yeah, thank you, Ventrua, so much for joining us. And let's get a clap for Ventrua in chat. We have a few more interviews we have to go through as well. Quantry is the next one.
No
And
problem. Thanks for hosting and have a nice day.
thank you for
And
your
hopefully no
stellar
technical
performance,
issues
dude.
anymore.
Yeah, I
See ya.
know. That was stressful. Thank you so
Yep.
much, dude. All right, that was the Ventrua. Let's see if we can get Kevvantry. Hopefully we have no more technical issues. We have Exile, we have Lily, and we also need to do all the drawing and Rice QT as well. So we don't have that much time left for interviews. Hello.
Hello.
There it is.
I
That's
think that's me.
that is good. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great, and congratulations on your pretty badass performance in the Gauntlet. Rank 1 Marauder, and you won, I believe, around $1,400.
It's a lot of MTX.
Yeah, that is a lot of MTX. Is it all going to be used on wings?
We'll see. We'll see. I usually spend like my stream earnings on MTX, so
You can design a unique divination card with that now, at least. So,
yeah, maybe I could make one for Soul Tether so people can stop farming ancient orbs for it.
do you know, I was thinking about that myself. I have 2 pending, one for alterations and one for an impulsive, but I wish I'd made a Soul Tether one in hindsight. Um, but yeah, no, congratulations. How did you? Yeah, tell us a little bit about your run.
Well, strangely enough, I did not die playing a Berserker until the very end, like my final boss. So it was a big change for me. Usually I push really hard at the beginning and I end up dying at near the end of day 1 when I start getting tired. I don't play as well.
Mhm.
And then I make a mistake and I die. This time I just kind of played at my own speed because it was a class gauntlet as opposed to everyone competing against each other. So looking at the ladder, I was like 10 or maybe 15 levels ahead of the next Marauder
Yeah.
when I was starting to get tired. So I just had the luxury of going to sleep because I knew I wasn't going to be able to play enough to win rank 1 overall.
Well, you did a hell of a job. Do you feel like the Gauntlet encourages a lot more sleep than a normal race, just because you do need to be so focused?
I think it did the first few times, but I think the more experience people are getting
Yeah.
with it, the less they need to sleep longer. Like I think people were doing pretty long sessions this gauntlet compared to the past 2. I could be incorrect, but that's just
Yeah, I think there are more like longer sessions for sure. That's why we have asked you today if we could be able to like limit the race to like 14 hours a day, for example.
Mhm.
But yeah, how did you
Yeah.
feel about the class Gauntlet as opposed to a free for all?
I liked it. I mean, I like playing Berserker a lot, so it was cool that I got to play something besides Champion. Although I was still considering playing Champion and seeing if I could take down like Alk and Darky and I'm Exile, but just because I didn't get any time off work, I knew I wouldn't be able to realistically compete with them.
I mean, especially considering that you're working full time while doing this, it's insane. Like, how many hours were you able to do while working?
So typically I work from like 9 to 5 are my hours. So after that, I try to like eat dinner and spend a little bit of time with my wife so she doesn't feel like she doesn't see me at all. And then I was playing basically from like 7 p.m. till like 2 a.m.
Wow, that's pretty badass. Were you getting enough sleep and stuff?
I try to get at least 6.5 hours a night. Ideally, I like to sleep 8 hours, but I just shortened it a little bit for this event.
Nice. Well, that's pretty badass, dude. And I hope to see you do equally or even better in future races. We're gonna try to do a gauntlet every league. And thank you so much for participating and absolutely killing it.
Yeah, thanks for hosting the event. It was a blast. I always look forward to them.
Oh, on a final note, there's a lot of comments about you betraying the Long Neck Templars with going Marauder. How do you respond to these comments?
Uh, the issue with Templars, you need to play more hours if you want to be able to do the end bosses because the builds just aren't as strong. So, I mean, I could have played Templar. It just would have been like twice as many hours to actually get geared and like be ready to
Yeah.
fight all the end bosses. So I selfishly chose my time over the long neck.
That's fair. That's a good reason. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. Next up, we have Exile, and yeah, excited to see how you do in the next one as well, Country.
All right, see you, Ziz.
Bye. Thank you. Let's switch the image around. Let's do Exile. That's badass, dude. We have so many good racers now.
Hello?
Hello, the Exile himself. How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. How are you?
I am. Ooh, good. Let me see. Try talking again.
Test, 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 test. Hello, hello.
How's the volume? Okay, we're good. Exile, you arguably made this one of the most interesting races we'd ever seen. It was an insane push. How do you feel?
I'm pretty happy with how I did. Well, I say that. I'm actually not happy with how I did because I died in probably the most anticlimactic way I think I could have gone out. I told myself if I survived through maps on a character and if I didn't kill the bosses, even after practicing them, I was gonna be pretty disappointed, and I ended up dying to the bosses. So I guess I'm pretty disappointed that I didn't win.
That's fair. And you're comparatively new to the scene compared to a lot of the older Path of Exile racers, but you started playing in Legion, right?
No, I started playing in Metamorph and then
Yeah.
racing into like Delirium.
Yeah, so you basically started racing almost instantly after starting playing the game. Was that like something you wanted to get into from the start?
So there's actually like like I don't know if you remember Soup Line's like little mini races, but I saw I was like looking around for races. I don't know how it came up, but I ended up doing one of his and getting absolutely smoked the entire time. Took me like 17 hours to get level 90 in like a softcore race or something. And then from that point onward, I just started like watching Tai's vids and just improving from there, and it just kept going.
Well, I mean, and as Lighty just put it in chat, a natural gaming warlord. It's very very cool to see how far you come in so little time. How much like practice do you do and stuff?
Honestly, not a whole lot right now, but I don't like if you remember Method Rush when we had that, I played like probably 12 hours a day every single day, and then from there it's just like sporadic, occasional, like every time there's an event I'll practice for like a week beforehand and then just go from there.
Do you have any like words of encouragement for other people that maybe want to get into racing?
I think there's a lot of information and you can be very overwhelmed. So I think you should start like improving by one step at a time. Just like find your weakest point and go from there. Um, honestly, a lot of people might think this is wrong, but I think in practicing early game first, so you can get the whole like speed, efficiency, hide out as lava kind of mindset is actually a good idea, and it transitions well into like longer races. But I know a lot of people, don't like practicing early game. But yeah, just watching like Tai or any fast racers VODs and then trying to mimic their gameplay and then get to a point eventually where you're finding your own mistakes and then you improve from there is how I do it.
Nice. No, that's pretty good. Um, is there, yeah, how big of a difference was it for you with it being a class gauntlet? Did you consider much of like going different ascendancies?
Nah, I never consider anything. I will only ever play the best build.
Nice.
I'm a very like rank 1 or nothing kind of player. Like if I don't get rank 1, my motivation is just out the window. Like probably almost immediately. Like
That is pretty badass though, and you did really, really well. Hopefully, we'll see an equally impressive or even more impressive performance in the next race. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed your time in the gauntlet.
yeah, thanks for the event. It was a ton of fun. I hope you do more of them. I think you said earlier, Will. So
Yeah,
should be fun.
we're gonna do at least one per league, and hopefully start doing other events as well on top of that. But thank you so much for joining. Let's get a big clap for Exile in the chat. We are actually like running a little short on time due to technical difficulties. So we're also going to be moving on to the drawings next of all the random stuff. So thank you so much, Exile.
Yep. Thanks for having me. See you later.